This place isn't a paradise. It's a prison. Out here, we're trapped in this endless, eternal cycle. And I can't let this go on any longer. The more days I repeat, the longer that I'm out here, the more certain that I am of what I have to do. The only way to break this cycle is to kill you.
Hi, my name is Inel and welcome to my gamification channel. Before we begin, if you're interested in checking out more gaming content from me, make sure to subscribe to the channel and click the notification bell to be kept up to date. Also, this is as much of a spoiler-free review as I could make it. Deathloop is all about exploring and uncovering the game's secrets as you play. I'll do my best to talk about gameplay mechanics and design and leave much of the story DNA for you to discover for yourself. That being said, what is Deathloop? Deathloop is a brand new first-person timey-wimey IP developed by Arkane Studios, the Dishonored and Prey series developers. In fact, you can spot influences from those titles within Deathloop, as many of the mechanics have melded into the design of this brand new console exclusive for the PlayStation 5 and PC. Deathloop has you play as one of two characters, Colt, a man who is trapped within a Groundhog Day style loop for all eternity, awaking on the shores of Black Reef, an island that resembles both a paradise and a prison. He soon discovers that all the inhabitants known as Eternalists want him dead, including the beautiful assassin Julianna, the other protagonist you get to play in the game. More on her a little later. As Colt, you discover your only hope of survival is to shoot back and assassinate 8 visionaries in the hopes of breaking the loop and earning your freedom. However, it's not that simple. You must work out how to kill all 8 visionaries before the day resets in a unique murder puzzle game hybrid, gathering intel on their whereabouts to achieve the perfect loop and finally breaking the cycle. It's not quite a roguelike, but it shares similar mechanics that you might recognize if you've recently played Returnal or Hades. This game is about dying some more, and then dying again. Each death is not a waste of time, however. Much like Returnal, your knowledge of the events is retained, leads on visionaries preserved, and you can even make Colt stronger by collecting slabs and trinkets to enhance your abilities for the next loop. Much like Dishonored, Deathloop employs an open-ended style of play. Rather than straightforward objectives, this game gives you potential leads which you can choose to follow up however you like. There are various ways to approach each lead presented to you, helping you unravel the secrets of Black Reef and getting you one step closer to those responsible for your predicament. You can go in stealthily and take out everyone silently within an area using gadgets such as the Hack-a-Majig, or go in guns blazing with the plethora of weapons available to you. And trust me, there's a lot of weaponry.
Same morning, same fucking radio show.
When not being peppered with bullets, Colt can take respite in between runs in an underground bunker under the bowels of Black Reef. Here, Colt can plan his next move going forward, whether consulting any discoveries you've unearthed, listening to audio logs, or customizing your loadout. This downtime can make the difference between a bad run and a good run. Head to Up Dam to work on a lead, or head to the complex where you might be able to catch a visionary off guard when they're usually heavily surrounded. As with any Arkane Studio game, the weaponry is fun and outlandish. You start off with basic grey guns, but later discover new rarer purple and gold weapons with additional randomized perks. One of my favourite mechanics from Far Cry 2 appears here as well, with the gun jamming mechanic. Depending on the quality of your weaponry, your gun can get jammed, and if you're not careful, adding an extra level of anxiety in the middle of an intense shootout. The further you progress into the game, Colt can gain new abilities in the forms of trinkets and slabs. Trinkets can be found exploring and dropped by more substantial enemy types. These can be added to guns to help reduce recoil, and some can even be given to Colt, adding additional buffs like being able to double jump. Colt is an agile character. He can run, jump, sneak, peek, climb and slide his way around the environment. Later, Colt can even gain slab powers that enable him to shift around, gain invisibility, and even throw enemies about. Slabs are unique, otherworldly abilities that can be snatched from visionaries on a loop run. I won't spoil all the abilities here, but they can give you a new fighting edge against the Eternalists, much like Neuromods did back in Prey. On top of that, a rival assassin Julianna, the other opposing playable character, is out to kill you with the sole purpose of keeping the loop intact. What ensues is a unique game of cat and mouse. You attempt to follow leads and uncover the Isle of Black Reef secrets, whilst constantly being tracked down by Julianna, intent on killing you every day for eternity. Why she is so hell-bent on seeing you suffer is what you, the player, must figure out, and fast. If you've played any of Arkane's previous games, you'll be familiar with their design style. This time we see a mix of otherworldly tech like Prey, mixed with a unique Art Deco style reminiscent of other games like We Happy Few. Unlike those games, however, Deathloop plays differently. You will be gallivanting around Deathloop's 4 distinct districts time and time again in a beautifully rendered assassin's playground of walls to climb, windows to vault through, and doors to bust down. Each location, the complex, Updam, Carl's Bay, and Fristed Rock, can be visited in any order after the initial intro at 4 different times of the day: morning, noon, afternoon, and evening. Depending on the time you visit the map, enemy patrols change, environmental shifts occur, and the visionaries can even switch locations. It's up to the player to determine when to visit certain areas and the order to unmask its secrets. The more information you gain, the more opportunities for Colt to assassinate his targets. Deathloop also features a multiplayer mode in which its story intertwines with the single-player narrative campaign. Much like Demon's Souls, once you get past a specific story beat as Colt, your game can be invaded by other Julianna players online. Their aim is to kill you on your campaign missions as Colt to restore order in their campaign missions as Julianna. This multiplayer mechanic is optional and can be substituted for the computer AI to attack the player if you wish to play the game offline. There is also a friends mode where only friends on your friends list can invade your game. Also, to note, you can only be invaded by up to 1 Julianna per loop session. I personally suggest playing with this feature enabled. It's dynamic and heart-pumpingly intense. Once you're made aware of an invading player, you feel as if you're being watched at every turn, as if someone is out there looking at you from a distance, waiting for you to fall into their trap. I love how this multiplayer aspect of the game complements the narrative being told. It's why I love the medium of video games, especially when it comes to storytelling devices like this. These characters are so full of personality, and it helps humanize the gameplay mechanics of being stuck in a death loop. Character development through gameplay is where this game triumphs. There is nothing quite like stepping into the shoes of various characters and experiencing what they go through together. Julianna also comes with her own loadout, which can be customized before jumping into a loop. Extra costumes for both Colt and Julianna can also be obtained for both characters by playing multiplayer. There's also no in-game microtransactions for purchasing outfits with money. So, if you feel like wearing a tuxedo on your next assassin run, get kicking some ass. Much like Prey, Arkane's other game, that sense that you're being preyed upon is rife in this game. When in the knowledge that another player has invaded your game, immediately you begin to change tact. Do you want to be loud and give away your position and engage with the intruder head on? Or do you want to be stealthy and potentially get the jump on your killer if they aren't already tailing you? I love how regardless of the situation you find yourself in, there are multiple approaches the player can take. It's a testament to some excellent level design and gameplay mechanics to allow for a range of different methods. Defeating a Julianna could aid you in your loop by acquiring powers from her fallen body if you prove to be successful. Or it could be a nightmare if you happen to be low on health, frantically trying to scramble to the exit only to be encountered by a fully powered up invader. You can't just play this game one type of way. Each scenario encourages you to mix things up dynamically, changing on the fly. It's also great to see Arkane utilizing the uniqueness of the DualSense controller in various ways. Julianna taunts and golds Colt constantly throughout his adventure. This audio can be optionally played through the DualSense speakers, as well as audio recordings you recover from visionaries.
The doors to the TV can get acquainted.
What? Doors?
2 little tunnels. Brilliant design, really.
Wait, shit. Fuck this. Gotta lock my tunnels? Then I'll just have to unlock them.
The audio quality coming out of the DualSense is fantastic, especially when you look back on previous controller speakers like on the DualShock 4 or the Wii Remote. Every step Colt takes, you can feel the haptic sensations on the controller. The feeling even changes depending on the surface in which he is traversing. A more metallic clang is felt when treading over metal walkways compared to when you're walking on carpet in an apartment building. Each weapon also feels a little different in hand using the DualSense controller. Aiming down sights with a shotgun using L2 for instance has the controller give a bit more resistance than a pistol to convey the weight. On top of that, the R2 trigger has varying degrees of resistance depending on the weapon in hand. It's great to see developers utilizing these features in PlayStation games. It really sets it apart from other experiences. Technically, this game runs at 60 frames per second on the PS5, and I didn't notice any performance drops that affected my gameplay experience. I did get the occasional screen tearing however on occasion, although this was nothing too drastic or distracting. Graphically, this isn't the best we've seen on the PS5 this year, but the overall design really envelops you into this chaotic world that Arkane Studios has created. I will say, a few multiplayer games I jumped into did have some lag issues, which made it pretty much impossible for me to take out the Colt I was invading. Perhaps during matchmaking it could show how well the connection between the potential prey is before jumping in to ensure a good gameplay experience for both players. This only happened a few times when trying to invade random players. Regarding any bugs, I only ran into one where I couldn't initiate my next mission from the menu screen. After receiving the day 1 patch, I've had a really smooth gameplay experience with Deathloop, and I haven't run into any issues since. So, is Deathloop for you? Well, Deathloop is what happens if Dishonored was meshed with We Happy Few and was injected with an infusion of melanin, and I'm all here for it. 2 leading black protagonists in a AAA title is incredibly refreshing to see, and I now have a new character in Colt that I can cosplay as in the future. This game oozes style, and it's clear from the artwork, the designs, the amazing soundtrack that a lot of care and love has been put into developing this title. This to me feels like an extension of what Arkane set out to explore in Dishonored and Prey. We're witnessing a culmination of many fantastic gameplay ideas developed in those games, and here they are refined and honed into a tight, timey-wimey adventure escapade. If you have a PlayStation 5 or a capable PC, and you're into mysterious time-traveling stories that unravel as you explore in a puzzle-like manner, then this game is for you. Thank you very much for your time for watching my review today, and if you're new to the channel, consider giving me a like. If you really enjoyed the review, subscribe and share it with your friends. I also stream on Twitch, so come on over there sometime for some chats about Deathloop and other upcoming titles. I've been Inel, thank you for watching.